Welcome back to For the Love of Men podcast. My name is Courtney Shan, that I'm hosting with my dear friend, Brianna Mosier.
Hello.
The intention of this show is to bring together men and women to create healthy, polarized relationship dynamics by learning how to honor each other's natural masculine and feminine energetic core. We have a really juicy episode today, one that was requested by you guys, which we love when you guys make requests. We're going to be doing a whole breakdown of what it feels like for the feminine to feel safe, seen, and heard. Today we're going to cover one of those and break that down a little bit more. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to Bree and myself, and then we'll dive in.
Yes. My name's Bree. My work in the world is helping really high achieving, successful, kind of like the independent woman type, access and embrace her feminine energy and heal from past relationship trauma and open up to receive and co-create really healthy, thriving relationships, platonic or romantic. But usually my clients are wanting support in the romantic arena as well. So that's my work in the world. Courtney, your work in the world is similar, but with men.
Similar but different.
Yeah, similar but different.
I love helping men embody their natural masculine energy. When we can start to bring in those elements that have been a little bit unintegrated and unaddressed with their feminine energy and how they're relating to it, it naturally shifts the dynamic that they've been creating with the women in their life. This will show up in creating more polarity in their connections with dating, really leading the intimacy and getting the depth that they're looking for in that emotional connection too. They feel really emboldened and stable. I love helping them do that. So this is going to be one element of that, of how you can really create that experience with a woman that you are with. And we're going to break it down into what being seen does for the feminine. This was a request from one of our viewers of what does it being seen actually like mean and what does it do for the feminine. We're going to break that down, some actual examples of what it looks like. And we have some questions for you, men. We want your input on this. We're going to save those for the end. Once we kind of talk this out, they'll make more sense. So stay tuned for that. Do you want to lead us off?
I sure can.
Okay.
Let's talk about what we mean by when we say feeling seen. Because I understand this can kind of be an abstract concept, right? Like, what does it even mean to make someone feel seen?
Yeah.
So the way that it feels for me and kind of the definition that we've landed on is feeling acknowledged and valued for your authentic self. The simplest Cliff Note version of this is just noticing someone's, aside from gender or feminine masculine energy, right? We talk about a lot. It's like a human quality, but the feminine in particular wants to feel seen. And so it's noticing someone's nuances and quirks and little things about them. You know, I'm trying to think of an example of like what I would do for you. I might say to Courtney, "What's Wednesday night? Are you going to go dancing?" I know that she dances on Wednesday night, and that would make her feel cared for, paid attention to. Oh,
yeah,
you matter.
Noticed. Yeah.
You know this about me. The reason it matters is because this is where connection comes from. And that's the only point of it, is to feel connected. So, you know, we often get comments of people saying like, yeah, but what's the payoff for men? What do men get in return? Connection. What do you mean? Rich, fulfilling relationships. The best part of life is that connection and closeness. And when you become the person, when you start learning the skill set of how to make someone else feel seen, what's really cool is you start to attract the experience back to yourself as well, because you become a person who can hold being seen and allows other people to feel seen. So you attract in people who are on that same energy with you, who are on that same frequency with you, if you will. So you get to receive it in return, but also like seeing somebody feels so good too. You're like, I know them. I know you're not going to want this type of coffee creamer when you come stay. Right? There are little nuances to it.
I love that.
It's connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you add to that?
Yeah. Well, I love the idea too of like what you get in return is to know that person. But the same thing that we talk about all the time is when you give to a woman, she multiplies it. And if you're giving her the feeling of being seen, like, look out, because this woman is going to be like enveloping you with this like radiance and love and like that heart energy that just makes you feel like sunshine. When you, even again, we talk about this as a like core human thing, because I'm just convinced we are labeling things as feminine for the sake of our like paradigm and construct that we're talking about, but it is the feminine in all of us. And I think that's where men are getting a little bit in the weeds, is they're like, what's in it for me? It's like, you have a feminine energy too. Mm-hmm. You want to feel seen. It makes sense. It doesn't mean that you are going to go about it in the same way that she may, but part of you wants to be seen. And that's what we're going to be talking to. So as much as you can relate to it, and again, we've talked about this before too, the things that we have learned about ourselves in learning about the masculine energy at large have been so healing. And I'm like, oh, that's why that happens. That's why I do that. That's how I can use it and channel it and get that need met in a healthier way. That's what we're hoping for with this conversation. Is it will probably apply to you too. It should. Reciprocity is like natural to feminine energy. Mm-hmm. When like women are wired for that, like they are wired and then socialized and reinforced for reciprocity. So if reciprocity isn't happening, that this may be part of it. Is, can we really like see this person as a full person instead of just this one layer? We talked about it in a previous episode of when we like kind of smush people and one dimensionalize them as like you are X, Y, and Z. I'm going to tell you like what you are. It's not going to be landing in a way that feels very seen, because I am a 3-dimensional human. You know, I've got all sorts of things that could be seen. If you're only willing to see this one thing about me, it's going to be a little bit lackluster. The connection can only go as deep as you're willing to see me and allow me to show up. And same for you.
I love that. I think another nuance of being seen is noticing details and just piggybacking off what you're saying, noticing different dimensions of somebody. And the more that you care about that person, naturally, the more you notice all their dimensions, you know? So if I think about, I hope this is okay, I'll reveal this about our friendship.
I trust you.
That Courtney and I have so much fun. We laugh together all the time, and we have very similar sense of humor. And so when we would tell each other, like, oh my God, you're so funny, it was a part of us, I think equally. You maybe didn't feel seen in that element in your life, and I know I didn't feel seen in that element in my life. And then when we got together, it was like, are you hilarious? Are we hilarious? We just saw each other in a different way, and it brought connection, you know? So it's things like with, you know, if I'm speaking right to men, right, when you're dating women, it's things like you're noticing her quirks, her nuances, but also her character, her wit, her humor, her laugh, like the way her face looks when she wakes up in the morning, or her routine. Are you going to go do your skincare? I know it's like about that time. You're just noticing things that are part of who she is. You like the way that she treats people. You like her kindness. You like how she spoke to the waiter and asked for his name. Like, I know you are seeing these things if you're choosing to spend time around this woman. I think the disconnect is like maybe the misunderstanding of the word seen being like a physical scene and it leaving your mouth. Like, you're thinking it already. Oh my God, she looks radiant right now. Like, I can just feel her energy. Just let it out. That's all. Wow, your energy is just like, whoa, today. Like, I can feel you. I don't know, however you would say it. Just let it out of you.
I love that. Well, I think, and again, just to talk about it in our friendship context, I think the difference is that we have little filter for what we're reflecting back. It is happening in real time of like, oh my gosh, you look amazing today. You're radiating. Your skin looks great. And it's like this self-fueling cycle, because then I'm like, me? Even more. Oh my gosh. But that's what's going to happen when you do it. When she feels seen in your presence, is that even more of her gets to show up. She's looking for like, what are the limits to how much of me can be here? And again, the feminine in general, again, we all have masculine and feminine energy, but the feminine energy is going to fill the space that's available.
Ooh, keep going.
The more, okay.
Sorry. I was getting excited. Like, yes. So say more about that. She said, okay.
The more space that is available and the stronger that you can be in that like opening of the space, the more empowered she is in her feminine energy, the more comfortable she feels in her feminine energy, the more she's going to be able to be like, you liked that? How about more? How about more? You think I'm radiant? How much more radiant and sparkly can I be in your presence? When you can bring this out of her and you can do it on repeat, this is like what I teach my clients. It's like, you want to create the feedback loop where you feel like you can do this on repeat. It's not that you can't do it. It's once you know what it is to do it, you could do it in any context friends, family, mom, sister, date, like you want for the people around you to feel seen because it creates an element of safety that they now associate with being around you. And that is not only going to make you more attractive to a romantic partner, but more attractive in life.
Yes.
Like the quality of your relationships determine the quality of your life. This is like well researched at this point. People who have good, thriving, healthy relationships tend to be making more money. They tend to rate themselves as having more fulfilling lives. They go after things that they would have otherwise maybe sidestepped and been like, oh, I don't know about that. They have a like more robust, adventurous, full life. And it's because of the quality of their relationships become this foundation that now like launches you out in the world. So what you get in return for seeing your woman and helping her feel seen in your presence is not only the version of her that no one else gets to see. The world doesn't see this side of her the way you will. And she's going to be bringing more of it to you if you're the one who is kind of like creating the space and like drawing it out. I saw, maybe it was a movie the other day. I forget. I wish I'd kind of fleshed this out before it's coming out of my mouth now. But anyways, he was just saying that like she shows up for me the more that I'm like inviting that part of her out. More of her is coming. Like she is stepping, I know where it was on Instagram. He was saying like, it's like she's coming into her own. She is like showing up even more fully. And I just get to like fan the flames and be like, dang girl, you're hot. And in return, this man was saying in return, she's flirting with me like we just met. She makes me feel like she's about to jump my bones. Like everything
it's
comes
the feedback
back.
Loop.
Everything comes back that you are giving. So I think there is a breakdown of you're thinking it like, dang, she looks beautiful today. Wow, she looks hot in that outfit. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. She's so vibrant. She is so kind. Like all of those moments that you are impacted by her, if it would come out of your mouth to her, it would be reflected back to you in ways that will shock you.
And then you get to experience the best of the feminine also. Yes, it feels good as the feminine to be seen, but to be across from a woman who is radiating in her feminine energy, platonic or romantic, but let's talk romantic for just a second. I mean, is there anything more that draws you in more? You're going to get the warmest, most playful, open-hearted, not that it's a guarantee, but like that is your kind of gateway to creating physical connection too for most women is going to be that emotional connection, you know? So you get that open version of her and what Courtney's saying around expression. I mean, how cool. You will continue to watch this woman shapeshift and unfold in front of you because you're acknowledging all these things about her. And so sometimes it's physical, like beautiful or what she's wearing, and sometimes it's, wow, she's working so hard. I can tell she really cares about her clients or her patients or her career, or the impact she's making in the world. Or I love how she's so well educated on social issues. Like, let me just verbalize that. She's going to keep going. You see me. You see me?
Okay.
It's safe to be me with you. If it's safe to be me with you, then I can be more of me with you, like you're saying, right? Fill up the space. And now you have a deeper emotional connection with this woman that you already are seeing all these things. One more thing I want to just emphasize where you said it's this like cycle, the feedback loop. That is it. That is the whole point. When you start seeing her, it gives her that energy, and then you get more of that radiant feminine, and women are built on reciprocity. So she's going to want to be giving the same thing back to you. And now you guys are like upward spiraling into bliss in relationship.
Yeah.
That's really where you end up.
Yeah. And I think where it comes from when men are saying like, what do I get in return, is that they haven't figured out that feedback loop, or it feels finite for them, that if I'm giving you something and it hasn't come back, then it feels like I've lost something. But that usually tells me that it's not either landing, or you're across from a woman who isn't fully radiating that back. There's a kind of like disconnect there, because I'm trying to think, when men have like really seen me and helped me feel seen, I want to be around them. I want to like be engaging with them. I'm kind of thinking like multiple different capacities, so I want to choose my words wisely here. But like, I'm wanting to engage in a more playful way. I'm wanting to participate in what it is they're doing. Like, oh my gosh, tell me more about your work. Oh my gosh, that's incredible that you are, so passionate about building this. Like, I just see this taking off for you, or, like casting the vision of where they're going and really like seeing them in it. Sometimes that reflection, as I've heard from men, can be something that they only get from their intimate feminine partner, is to like see you in your fullness and in your potential and in the not yetness of you're not quite there yet, but she can hold that vision for you. Sometimes that is the air in the sails, really, that kind of like pushes you forward. Not that it's a gap of like you're not there yet, but it really can be this like upward current that she's holding, this like, I see you, babe. I see you here. I know where you're going. I see your vision. I believe in you. That is going to be the feedback loop that you start getting into that channel when you are able to and willing to verbalize what you experience with your woman.
Yeah, the more that you're hitting on these 3 principles, I know we're zooming in on seen today, but safe and heard will be next. But the more you're hitting on those, I mean, that is part of what you get, is the feminine multiplier, like you said in the beginning, right? And she is going to see your potential. And if you're putting this in the direction of an empowered woman, I don't know anything that would be more valuable to your life, to your career, to your finances, to your goal achievement than a woman who's fanning your flames like that right back in her different feminine way. And then you're also getting to marinate in her feminine energy when you've put work away and you're coming home to your feminine partner, and she's the play and the fun and the sensuality and in her body and your peace, and she's nurturing and funny and playful, like nothing better.
That is what the men that are coming into my work, that is what they're wanting. They're wanting this like deep emotional connection that is also like spicy and polarized, but does not lack the depth and intimacy and, like possibility of the sky's the limit we're building together. Feeling. Just saying.
So
here's how you get there. Nope, that's it.
I was just gonna say, if you're thinking, okay, how do I do this? Again, I might say it multiple times. I feel like it's good to hear things multiple times. This is about noticing her nuance, her quirks, her qualities and characteristics in the moment, whether it's her work ethic or her kindness or her empathy or her hustle, the way she takes her coffee, what she does on Wednesday nights, the way you always do your skincare like this. I see you always wear that bracelet. Do you really love it? Like, anything that's making her feel that the sensation is you see me, you're noticing nuance about me, and you care to notice, right? That's what it comes to: qualities, characteristics, quirks, nuance, even patterns said with love. All of that's going to cultivate a feeling of, he sees me. He sees me. I can be more of me.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Because the alternative is like to not feel seen. Are we ready to go here?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. To not feel seen, I think for especially women, this is where we're going to talk more women than just feminine energy in general, because for women, there's like a visceral experience of like, I don't feel seen, which means that I don't matter, like I'm unsafe in some way. It registers on a visceral level as a sense of threat. Because again, I actually really like the kind of evolutionary psychology piece of this, of like in hunter-gatherer days, like if you weren't part of the tribe, you were going to die on your own. And people seeing you was part of you being in the tribe. It was like, hey, I see you over there. I've got you. I will come to your aid if you need me. You're good over there. Keep going. But it is that feeling that is sort of wired into the visceral experience of not being seen. So this is really important, not just because you are helping her elevate into her empowered feminine expression, but also she can't do that when her body is like closed down and constricted and crunchy. We want for it to be soft and so that it can animate and like, be fully expressive. That's not going to happen if she is on a nervous system level perceiving a sense of threat. Did I make someone unhappy? Am I going to get kicked off the island now? Like, what's going on? So to not feel seen is not only I feel disconnected, another core human need that you'll have this too is like to belong. to belong, to feel safe, to feel connected to. If you're wanting, we always talk about like the feminine is so driven by connection. If you're wanting to create connection and I don't feel seen, now I don't actually feel close to you.
Yeah.
The motivation is feeling like I'm having to like jump over this hurdle now, which they will do. And you'll see this now that we've talked about it. You'll see how women are like, hey, see me. And this will show up in really kind of wounded, sideways expressions to get seen. And that's almost always, as we talk about, like it will be a wounded expression because it's not able to be just an empowered expression of being seen in a full like worthiness. I'm worth seeing.
Yeah. I know what you mean. When the need for being seen is not met, it kind of comes out sideways. So that's when you might start getting some performative and like, will this work? Will this work? So for women, that's when you might start leading with sexuality. That's when you might start overextending, performing, trying to earn the love, which is not something necessarily like you need to be like keeping a huge pulse on as the masculine partner. Like it's really the feminine's responsibility to go, I have a need to be seen and it's coming out sideways and I need to like find a way to ground this need and bring it forward. I'm going to get myself in the weeds here, but I think when it comes to what it feels like to not be seen, for me, it becomes you don't see me. Do I matter to you? And if I don't, do I need to pull back my investment on the relationship? So I describe it to my clients who are all women as what's making you feel open versus making you feel contracted. And when you're bumping up against contraction, meaning like you were just showing it with your body like this. When you're bumping up against contraction, that is showing you what's happening in the connection. You're not feeling invited in. When you feel open, it's like, I want to bring more of me. I want to bring more of my heart, my play, my wit, right? But if you're not being seen, it's, I'm shrinking back into myself because I can't get this feeling that I'm wanting. So as an empowered, secure woman, you're probably just going to redirect that energy to a relationship where you will feel seen. And the more empowered she is, usually the more quickly that's going to happen. You know, here's my need. Can I ask for it? Can I get it met? If it's not going to be the case, okay, I need to go put my investment in a different relationship where I will feel seen. You know, because what we're looking for in a relationship is connection. So if the connection's not happening, what is the point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is like the core.
What's the point?
Yeah, that is the core need. And it will be the question of like, what is the point? It's not a like shame on you. It really is like, okay, I'm just going to go somewhere else because what would be the point of me continuing to give my effort? In the same way we talked about the other day of for you to give your effort to a woman who's not able to receive it or doesn't want that particular offering, it would be a what's the point? I can't keep giving this and it not be received because this is a core motivator for the masculine in the same way that connection is a core motivator for the feminine.
Yeah, I think, can I move on to our next little section? Another responsibility. So for men and women, I'll speak to women for just a moment, is nobody wants to be seen as one-dimensional in any type of way. And so for women and men, oh my gosh, can I get my words out? We had the giggles so bad before this.
Oh man, it was bad.
People in general, if you want to be seen, you have to come forward with your authentic self. This is the thing where we can't lie to ourselves. It's not fair to go into a connection, especially as women. I think sometimes we go in and we're like, I want to be seen for all these little things about me. Okay, great. Are you leading with all of who you are? How much are you revealing? Because it's not fair to expect someone to see something that you're actually intentionally hiding. And I think a lot of women subconsciously crave that. Like, I want to be seen in a way that I'm not revealing and they're going to dig it up. Maybe an advanced way down the line intimacy when you're, someone can pick up on those nuances and you've developed a lot of rapport. Yeah. But are you showing up as your authentic self or are you performing? I have a whole module in Soft and Secure, which is where I work with women, on selling yourself on yourself. People can only see what you're showing them. So if you want them to see that you are passionate about your work and your career, bring that to the table. If you want them to see that you care about humanity and social issues, bring that to the table. If you want them to see that you are musical or artistic or whatever it might be, bring it to the table. Reveal it. You have to be willing to show. Otherwise, if you're showing up as a one-dimensional version, it's like a mirror. There's nothing to reflect. You have to give them something to reflect back. So the thing we need to check ourselves on for men and women alike is, am I showing up as my authentic self? And it's no one else's responsibility. No one can do that for you but you. You're deciding, this is what I'm revealing. So, for men, you were sharing, you often get in your comments this too, right? Like this providership of, do people only want me for my money or my providership? Okay, well, are we leading with just that, with fancy dates or career success? If you want to be seen for other things, like your kindness or what a great friend you are or your emotional intelligence, bring it to the table so it can be reflected back. Sometimes I think we hide these things and we don't reveal because we feel some type of insecurity about them, or we're afraid they're going to be rejected, or what if it's not cool? So for both parties, it's a matter of you getting right with yourself in it first so that you can bring it to the table. Otherwise, it can't be seen. How are they going to see it? You're not showing it.
Facts.
Courtney.
Go off.
Say more.
No, I love this because I work on this with men too. And I get such feedback on this one module in Rooted, where it is about seeing yourself with more clarity. Because if you don't see yourself, and just like you're saying, if you're not sold on yourself, you're going to hide those things. That's instinctive to just how humans are kind of wired. We're like, oh, I really don't want this to be seen. And yet we act shocked when nobody says, wow, that thing about you. It would be like forcing someone to like pry into your soul. And usually that's not a terribly healthy dynamic. I'm just going to...
Facts.
For that part of you that's craving to have this like experience of like someone's going to uncover this like gem in my soul and I'm going to feel so seen finally, that might happen. And once that happens, the rest of the dynamic is not going to be terribly healthy. It's going to either set you up into fantasy land where you're hoping for that experience again and it's always disappointing, or it's going to set you up in a major boundary violation consistently where this person is like, oh, you liked that? Let me keep like digging. And you're going to be like, hey, a little privacy here.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to skip that, you coming forward with that is it. I talk about this too, of like, if you want to be seen as more of a provider, you need to be bringing what you authentically want to provide, not just the money and the resources and the time and energy and attention. Like, pick what it is that you would like to provide. You have control over that part. If you're willing to lead with that, you will naturally start selecting out women who are not looking for that. And that's a good thing, because you want to be finding someone who is able to and wants what you like providing. In the same way, for feminine, you want to find someone who is enjoying and able to hold more of what you are revealing. And you won't find that if you are holding back or hiding or not animating that part of yourself because you haven't quite given yourself permission to own it.
Yep.
To say, hey, this is me. You may like it and you may not. And that's the gamble that I'm willing to take because this is me and I'm going to back it.
And that's not in like a pretentious, like, I have no flaws and I need to do no work on myself.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a different energy. You look like you might want to say more.
No, I'm glad that you caveated that.
Yeah, it's not like a...
Sometimes I assume we're all talking in the empowered paradigm.
I know. That's why I'm glad we work together, because we can both catch the... Now, if somebody hears this who's in the wounded, they might hear it differently.
Yeah.
So it's not like a, well, I'm really great, and if no one else thinks that, then like that's their problem.
Screw them, yeah.
That's actually that's a defense mechanism. That's a lot of protection going on there. Masking a lot of hurt about not feeling seen and feeling judged and criticized and not good enough. It's a different visceral experience in the body. And I'm just going to speak from a feminine perspective here, because I work a lot with women on this all the time. They will often say to me, I want a partner who fully sees me. And I always say, okay, great. Your relationships to other people heal by proxy when you heal your relationship to yourself. It's always an inside job, because you're 50%. And who you bring to the table is what's being reflected and responded to. So if you want to feel seen, how connected to yourself are you? Do you see yourself? And these things that you feel insecure about, can we find a way to either work on them to feel more secure or own them? For example, I used to hide that being in rooms of people that I didn't know was a personal hell. Like being alone and needing to socialize with a group of people that I don't know and I have no role, right? A facilitator, coach, cool. I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But just me and my personal life with a group of people, I don't know anybody. That is my personal hell. It is extraordinarily difficult for me. I shrink. I don't even know who I am. Like, what's happening? Interpersonally, I have the most amazing intimate conversations. I have no social anxiety. But in a group, oh my God, please don't leave my side. That's really what it is. And so I started with my safe, close people revealing this. One of my dear friends, Courtney, knows too. I talk about her often. Her name's Mel. She's so great. And when I revealed this to her, she was just like, oh, well, I'll just be with you. Like, or she'll literally hold my hand or give me a layup in conversation until I get my wings and I know a few people and then I'm good. That is one of the most seen experiences of, wow, this person gets me. And so now when I bring it up to her, I'm going to go to this barbecue, she'll be like, feeling a little nervous? How seen? And because I own it, it's not like an insecurity. So I can bring it to a partner and say, this is part of a thing I'm working on. And because it was met with so much love, I love that about me too. Like I can own that this is just my growth edge. What do I need from people in order for this to feel safe? So I'm kind of in the weeds here, but the point of it is even the things that are kind of wobbly, I'd love to change that about myself. I would love to. Unfortunately, I've been that way from the day I was born. And so owning it and me just saying, this is a part of me and I'm going to find a way to love this and own it and tell the people who love me so that they can support me, makes it able to, I can bring all that to me to the table. The reason I say that is I'm not hiding it anymore. And I'm not wishing somebody would notice it and save me. That was the point.
That's it.
So it took me a minute. I wasn't sitting there suffering going, oh, if they really saw me, then they know I was suffering right now. No, they wouldn't.
Care.
Then they would care. They do care. But I don't bring it to the table. Now that I feel secure about it, even though it's an insecurity, I can bring it to the table and I can feel seen by someone like my friend Mel, right? Who will be like, what can I do to support you? You feeling a little nervous? You want to call call me and I'll gas you up in the middle?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the things that are wobbly, they're still part of your authentic expression. You can still bring them forward. And the more that you love them and stop judging and criticizing yourself for them, you're actually going to attract people who are like, cool, not a deal breaker. What do you need from me?
Yeah.
Because you're owning it. Does that make sense?
100%.
There's a long way to get there.
No, I get it. And I think that's a really important piece because it's usually the things that we feel most embarrassed around or most sensitive to feedback around that we are going to be hiding for that reason. The parts of us that do get anxious, the situations where we're like, oh man, I would love I would love for this not to be the case. And it is. Could you help me? You know, you're bringing forward your humanness. And I find that whenever we can bring more humanness to the table, an empowered, emotionally mature person is going to see the humanity in it and be like, I got you. Thank you for sharing. Instead of me holding back and now being angry at you and you can sense that I'm resentful because you didn't see me across the room sulking and shrinking into the wall and cringing and come find me.
You get it.
Then you're going to be like, oh, cool, what do you need? Can I, fan the flame? Can I lead you in a certain way? This is where I think the masculine partner can be such a, supportive resource. Not that it's your job in the same way that we just said it's not someone's job to, uncover these things for you. But when something is presented, if you're willing to step in, this, as the feminine experience, to feel seen in this way feels like I can rest on you. Like if I was just leaning on you and I could just lean, you know, and trust that you're okay. You can support my weight for a second. I need a moment. All humans have that. We all need that point of connection. And in return, it takes a ton of courage to do this. So this is why I work on this with men too, of when you can see yourself, the assets, the challenge points, the things that you are actively working on, you now have that information and language to take to your partner. She wants to know. She's not trying to set you up for a loss either. She wants to be able to support you in it. When you have some ability to contain it, it's a lot easier for another person to see the human quality of it. And often that's usually when that feeling of insecurity shifts the fastest.
what's so great about it is you're no longer saving each other. By not revealing it, you're both going into damsel in distress energy.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? I'm having this issue and you should be seeing it without me bringing it to the table. Fix me, save me, right? And it'll happen in reverse too. Mm-hmm. But by you owning it, it's that empowered paradigm we talk about. You're saying, I've got this thing and I've got me. And I would love for you to also see me in this experience. Mm-hmm. That is going to draw someone in to support you or see you or be with you in it versus when you hide it, then it feels like I want them to fix, I want them to save. And that's more of the wounded paradigm that just kind of creates some drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 So, shall we move on?
Mm-hmm. Did we give some examples of this?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to, I think this one's so fun because we were writing down earlier, we're like, what does this do for the feminine? And what was coming up was the reason that this is such an experience that the feminine like desires is, first of all, because it's a core need for humans. Yeah. The feminine in all of us wants to feel seen and valued and celebrated and, like we matter to the people around us. And we see this in every single rom-com. There is a moment in every rom-com for a reason where they have just had this like breakdown and he realizes, I love the way you chew on your straw when we're out to dinner, and I love the way that you go to sleep with the face mask on and you're drooling, and I love this about you. All these things that other people would be like, think are weird, I love you for. That moment is like a 360 being seen. And it's usually because, I'm not saying that rom-coms are set up on a very healthy dynamic spectrum, but it usually is because he has been observing these things with her and he finally has decided to share them with her, and she's like,
and all the women in the theater are like,
yeah, you'll watch it. Next time you have that come across the movie screen, you'll see her face is like, he sees me in a way that I've not felt seen before. And I think this is true in men too. I need to think of an example of how this shows up for men. We don't see it as often in the movies. But I thought that was hilarious because it really is a moment that women are craving. They're like wanting this experience to feel really seen. And that's why it ends up in every single rom-com, because every woman can relate. And this is like, oh man, I love that for her.
Because that's a craving. Yes. All the nuances, the little thing. It's noticing the little things about her. That's all it is. And then all the women are swooning over there because that's what they want too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Shall we talk about what our part is in this?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, your part is bringing your authentic self to the table. Man or woman, and to have that, it can only be reflected back to you if you're putting it on the table to be reflected back, right? So we have to own, what parts of me am I hiding? What do I want to be seen that I'm not actually revealing?
Facts.
That's the biggest question here. And then I would love if I feel like you're just so good at describing this. What would be
you need a metaphor?
Sure thing. What would be the tangible way to describe how men can create this feeling of being seen with their partners?
I mean, really, this is just about being we always talk about like non-physical compliments. Help her feel seen as a multidimensional being. I think this is twofold. This is partly to do with building your capacity to experience more of feminine energy in general. And I can't go here without going here first. Because if you are wanting to experience the fullness of what a woman can bring into your life, you get to build the container to be filled. And expanding that capacity is something that I do with a lot of men, and in nervous system language of like, we need to be able to hold and tolerate the experience of being across from more emotion if we're asking for a woman to show up more fully. You will start fanning the flame of that the more that you feel confident in your ability to hold that and really stay grounded and present for it and witness it. And the second piece of that is to start fanning the flame. You get to become the verbal processor. I was just reading Jason Wilson's book. Someone we talk about on here often is Jason Wilson. We think he's just an incredibly empowered, masculine, integrated man. But he wrote a book called The Man the Moment Demands, I think. And he's talking about how the biggest shift in his relationship with his wife was to learn how to become a verbal processor. Women talk things out a lot. We verbally process. We're like, this is what I'm feeling. This is what happened. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think I should do. This is what he said, she said. And it may sound like a lot of just like yapping and chit chat, but the reality is there's a visceral like release and calming effect that comes with that bonding experience. And I think this is true for all people, humans in general, that we're looking for that closeness and bonding that allows us to like let our guard down and truly feel at peace and safe with another human. That's also going to help your nervous system relax and hold more capacity for someone else is doing that. But he was saying that it takes a lot of humility to let these things out because we have often been socialized, and I think just in observing, men for sure have been socialized to be more stoic, to hold everything to your chest. And caveat to this, there is a way to express your emotion that feels contained and clean and still keeps you very much in the masculine role in your dynamic. She will still see you as masculine in that. That doesn't necessarily mean never expressing those things. And I think to let it out of your mouth, the ways that she does impact you, is one of the ways that you're going to now fan that flame, and she's going to start filling that container that you have started to build. What do you have to add to that?
I think that's so great, right? Bottom line being you're already thinking these things if this is a woman you're investing time with, so you're just letting it out. Just say it. I love the way that you smell so good. I love how you put effort into. I love this quality about you. You're just noticing the things. That's all. I know you're already seeing them. If you're spending that much time with her, you're already seeing them. Yeah. One of the questions I would love to hear in the comments, if you're willing to give feedback, is I'm so curious to know, for the men listening, what stops you from letting out that feedback? I know you're thinking it. What's making you hesitate or pause in sharing it with her in the moment? Is it just like I didn't realize she needed to have it, so now I can say it? Or is there anything else to it? I genuinely would love to know if you're willing to share.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so excited to hear too, because we value your feedback a lot. We love hearing from men who are willing to share the experience because we want this to be a dialogue. So I love that. The other thing that I'm really curious about, if we're just going into question mode now,
sure,
is so I have been observing that men love this idea, and the term that they use is roasting each other.
Oof, I love this question.
They roast each other.
Yeah.
Is this the equivalent for men to feel seen by your friends is to be roasted?
Because they're noticing a detail?
Because they notice a detail and they like zoom in on it and call you out on it? This is so curious to us. I personally would not like to be roasted. I want to be... feelings. Yeah, I will probably end up crying at some point. If you decide to roast me, that's not going to feel fun for me. But if you saw things about me and were like, wow, that is so cool. Totally different experience for me.
Well, we had this like aha moment of, wait a minute, because I don't speak roasting either, but no. It is the same. Is it the same thing?
Yeah.
Like you're noticing a nuance about somebody and it's just, are you insulting them or complimenting them or neutrally noticing? I don't know. And if you have any other thoughts around like why roasting is bonding, I mean, our comments might get a little wonky, but
a little squirrely.
Yeah, if you have any really meaningful insight, I don't know how to frame that. I would be happy to hear. Like, what does roasting do for you?
Yeah.
Why is it so fun?
Yeah, because we literally just had this like brain opening, like. Is this the same thing in a different language? A rose by a different name? What? Like that moment. It may be the same, and I don't know. I would never think to roast a friend. I will compliment her. We'll gas each other up. I will be like,
yes,
go girl, fan your flame. But I would never think to me, like roasting is like popping holes in your self-esteem is what it appears to me. But men do it, and they love it, and they feel loved by their friends when they do
Yeah.
it. From what I understand, you guys are like, he's my bro. I'm like, he just verbally abused you. What do you mean?
But it might be because he sees you.
It might be.
You know? I'm trying to think of an example, and honestly, I just don't speak roasting. So
Right.
that's
This is
enough.
a language we don't speak. So curious about that. Help us out. Yeah. And the other question is what we asked earlier of if she's not reciprocating, I would be really curious what the experience has been. What do you feel like you are doing and how is it landing? We might be able to like tweak that a little bit. We might go deeper in that in another episode, but we'd love some specific examples of either moments when you were giving that what you were wanting in return that maybe wasn't reciprocated, specifically what you were wanting in return, and owning that might be really helpful for us to help you zoom in and kind of get some clarity around how to manage that moving forward so that you can have a little more positive feedback loop.
I know this is the worst placement to say this in the episode, but I can't help that it just came to my mind. Another way that you could make someone feel really seen, or that someone would feel seen, is you getting them something that fills in a gap in their life they've been struggling with. So like if I'm running out of coffee and the next time Courtney comes over, she's like, I picked up some more Nespresso pods. I noticed you were running out. I'm going to feel seen, right? Or what Courtney will do is she leaves me home cooked meals. And because she knows, like, cooking, I'll do it. Like, I can do it just fine, but I don't love cooking, you know? And so she'll leave them for me and just say, these are just here for you, just so you know. And I'm like, I feel so seen because you know I struggle to eat enough during the day because I don't want to pause and cook. I like doing what I'm doing. So filling in those gaps, or if the lawn's getting overgrown and you just came over and you mow her grass, right? I noticed it seemed like you were kind of stressed out about it, so I just took care of it. That's also going to cultivate the feeling of, oh, he sees me, right? I'm not sleeping well. You say, oh, my neck hurts. I'm not sleeping well on this pillow. And the next day he comes back with a certain type of pillow. I wanted to see if you could try this. Maybe it'll work for you. I know your neck's bothering you. Those are also like, that might be even a more targeted angle because I know you like to do things, right? And just see it and take action on it. That would totally create the same feeling. Yeah.
Where is the line there? Because I can already hear it in the comments of where is the line between that and the age old, she just wanted to vent. She doesn't want a solution.
Yeah. It's a good question. I think it depends on the woman, you know, and how receptive she is. You'll know how it lands. You could always just ask permission too. Instead, you could say, I heard you about your neck and I was thinking about this pillow. What do you think? Or I heard you were stressed out about the grass. I'd love to come cut your lawn. What do you think? If you don't want to overstep, then she would quickly be like, oh no, I've already got it taken care of. Actually, you know, no big deal. You're going to get that feedback pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think most women are going to be pretty excited about just, hey, I noticed this. If it's Courtney, it's a system. Create a system.
Don't even get me started on a system.
Anyway. Okay. Hope you like the episode. If you do, the best thing you could do is share it with someone. If you want to support the show and get these messages out there, that really, really helps us to build this community. Secondarily, we have opened up if you're wanting to support the show and keep us creating really high quality content for you and being able to create this kind of material for free as a free resource to you. If you're willing to, we do have a little membership. It's a pretty low monthly contribution that you could commit to. And in return, Court and I have some fun kickbacks in terms of content that we'll make exclusively for these folks who decide to support the show. Things that are a little bit more tangible, things that you often will hear us say, like, I don't want to go into coach mode on the show. There are things that we hold back because in our free content is not the same as our paid content, rightfully so, right? What would be the value of paid content if not?
Right.
So we've created and we will continue to create some things, some resources for you that are a little bit more advanced, a little more nuanced, a little more tangible, actionable ways to move the needle in your dating, relationship, emotional experience as a thank you for supporting the show. So if you'd like to join that, I'm sure we'll have it in the show notes of how they can jump in. There's
a membership tab too. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click on the membership tab and we'll put the links in the show notes for Spotify.
Yes. The other thing is we started some merch. If you'd like to, they're supposed to be conversation pieces. This one says, going to therapy makes you hotter. We love it. Courtney's wearing the one that we have. We support emotionally. Oh yeah, good job. Wow, how did you do that blind?
Do this every time.
We support emotionally intelligent. We celebrate emotionally intelligent men. Good job. These are great things to wear around if you want to support the message of the show and create conversation and change the paradigm.
Which you know we're all about. You guys are too. Join us.
So the link for the show notes will be in there. If you want more from Courtney, it's at Courtney_Shands across the board pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm at Building Bree or Building Bree Coaching across the board. That's it. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.